Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, my friends. God's blessings upon you. Let's praise the Lord together, my friends. We have all awakened in God's shelter. Now we've come to praise His name together. Good morning. I'm going to stop that. Technical difficulties. Don't know why it suddenly changed the beat on me, but I think you all get the point. We were playing our regular opening song, Good Morning, and for some reason, and it's probably me, something just happened that changed the drum machine setting. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. Daryl's not here, so we'll blame him. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. I want to start all over again. I'm not, but I am going to do something here. I have no idea what made that happen. And I'm sure it was me. It was something I did with my foot. But anyway, I hope everyone's doing well this morning. Good morning, Vicki. And good morning, Hushang. And good morning, Andy. And I know Jeremiah's out there in the clouds. If you could see his icon, whatever the right word is, you'd understand why I'm saying that. And hello, everyone out there in Facebook land. As you can see, unfortunately, Daryl will not be joining us today. He's not feeling well. And the same can be said for Camby's, who will not be joining us again because he also not feeling well. Let me do a little thing here with my view. I always like to have it in gallery when we start out. Good morning, everyone out there in Facebook land. It's good that you all are here. And here off camera and off mic, we have the lovely and talented Nini Ha joining us this morning. I know they can't hear you, but well, folks in Facebook can hear you, though, I think. Yeah, happy Mother's Day, everyone. It's good that to all the mothers out there and mother figures, good morning. And let's go ahead and start with a prayer, as always. O my Lord and my hope, help thou thy loved ones to be steadfast in thy mighty covenant, to remain faithful to thy manifest cause, and to carry out the commandments thou didst set down for them in thy book of splendors, that they may become banners of guidance and lamps of the company above, well springs of thine infinite wisdom and stars that lead aright as they shine down from the supernal sky. Verily, thou art the invincible, the almighty, the all-powerful. This is a prayer by Abdul Baha. Give me just a moment. I just want to try something here. You're going to hear the drum because we're going to be doing another song later on, and I don't know if this same weird little thing is going to happen. I don't know. Okay. Okay. Let's just hope it plays right for us on the next song. But again, good morning. Now, as you know, if you've joined us in the last week, we started a brand new book. Actually, the last 2 weeks. Have we been in this for 2 weeks? I think it's 2 weeks. No, it was just last week. But we started a new book, and the book is Toward Oneness. Let me hold that up for everyone. Toward Oneness. Okay. And the previous book that we were working on, it was easy to go to the Baha'i Library or some other Baha'i-based website and get the information from that. Yeah, we've got some issues going on with our Facebook setting as well. I thought I had turned the messages off, but you'll be hearing that do every once in a while, I think. I think if you turn down the music setting, the volume, that it won't be a problem. Just don't worry about it. Okay. righty. Yeah, this is the book, Toward Oneness, a compilation of racial and cultural issues. And the thing we need to point out about this book, that I was pointing out about it, is the fact that um, I don't think it is as easy to get as the previous book. I mean, it's available, but you can't, to my knowledge, based on my attempts at trying to find the content in some place where you can get it for free, I was not able to, I didn't find one. Okay, but you can get this book through Palabra Publications, and I can say that if you go to certain Baha'i websites where you can purchase the book, that you'd be able to purchase it. I'll also tell you, as I told you last week, it's available on Amazon, but it's much pricier on Amazon. So again, if you're interested in getting it, it's Toward Oneness, a compilation on racial and cultural issues. And last week we started out by reading a couple of some of the questions here. Like we're starting out with general principles, chapter 1, and starting out with what is the pivotal principle of the Baha'i faith, which, as we know, is unity. And what is the ultimate goal of the social development of humanity? Okay. And so we're going to go ahead and right now, actually, we're still dealing with the pivotal principle of the Baha'i faith, ultimate goal of the social development of humanity. Other questions that we dealt with were, do we need to remedy the other ills of society before we can achieve unity? And the answer to that was a definitive no. Unity has to come first. Does unity mean we will all become alike or uniform in the way we do things? The answer again, no. Okay. And other questions that we won't take time to cover the answers for because we talked about it last week. What will happen if we don't achieve unity? As a matter of fact, that's the one we ended on. We didn't finish. So we're going to finish that today. What will happen if we don't achieve unity? Actually, yeah, that is the one. Now, I'm going to start back with the beginning paragraph because we only got 2 paragraphs into that. So I'm going to start with that. And this first passage is coming directly from Baha'u'llah. What will happen if we don't achieve unity? Nothing whatever can in this day inflict a greater harm upon this cause than dissension and strife, contention, estrangement, and apathy among the loved ones of God. Flee them through the power of God and his sovereign aid, and strive ye to knit together the hearts of men in his name, the unifier, the all-knowing, the all-wise. So that's a passage from Baha'u'llah. And you know, those words, we kind of roll them off so easily, you know, dissension, strife, contention, estrangement, apathy. And I have no doubt that if you're listening to this, you probably certainly have you know, an idea of what they mean. But I went ahead and I decided, I wonder what some other synonyms are for these terms. And some of them might have a little more, I don't know, more direct effect on again, our let's just say our sense of humanity. So dissension, that's disagreement and conflict. Strife, also conflict, friction, disagreement. Contention, argument, dispute, discord, disagreement. Estrangement, alienation, antagonism, hostility, and apathy. And as Daryl pointed out, he feels that apathy is probably the worst of these. Apathy is indifference, lack of concern, lack of interest. So you can see how these 5 things that were listed can certainly have a negative effect on mankind's ability to unify. So to move on, today, the dynamic power of the world today, the dynamic power of the world of existence is the power of the covenant, which like unto an artery pulsateth in the body of the contingent world and protecteth Baha'i unity. The Baha'is are commanded to establish the oneness of mankind. I'll say that again. The Baha'is are commanded to establish the oneness of mankind. If they cannot unite around one point, how will they be able to bring about the unity of mankind? and I'll go ahead and say this, that point is the covenant. And I feel that it's important to point out, I'm sure that everyone knows what a covenant is. It's basically, it's an agreement. But in the Baha'i faith, the covenant has special importance, shall we say. The covenant of Baha'u'llah. And first of all, again, let's not just call it, point out the covenant, the power of the covenant. But what is the covenant? It actually is a two-level thing. First, there is the greater covenant. And what is that? The greater covenant is an agreement of progressive revelation. We've talked about that on numerous occasions. And basically, it's simply the understanding that God will constantly, throughout the ages, send messengers for the good of mankind to guide us in the right way. So that's the greater covenant. But then there's also the lesser covenant. Good morning, Gilbert. There's also the lesser covenant. And the lesser covenant is the covenant between Baha'u'llah and his followers. And it's regarding what is to move the faith forward. And it has to do with leadership of the faith. So the lesser covenant is between Baha'u'llah and his followers regarding the succession of leadership. So after Baha'u'llah, there came Abdul Baha. After Abdul Baha, there came Shoghi Effendi. You've heard us refer to all of them. And following Shoghi Effendi, who lived from, I believe it was 1897 to 1957, there came the early stages and finally the formation of the Universal House of Justice, which still exists today. So when we're talking covenant, again, it's important that we understand that that's not just a general term. Today, the dynamic power of the world of existence is the power of the covenant, which, like unto an artery, pulsateth in the body of the contingent world, the physical world, and protecteth Baha'i unity. Moving on. Again, we're dealing with this question. What will happen if we don't achieve unity? So it is with the greater body of humanity. The wonderful law of attraction, harmony, and unity holds together this marvelous creation. I'm going to read that again. We're talking about the world of humanity. So it is with the great body of humanity. The wonderful law of attraction, harmony, and unity holds together this marvelous creation. As with the whole, so with the parts. And I love this analogy that is often used by Abdul Baha of flowers of a garden. Whether a flower or a human body, when the attracting principle is withdrawn from it, the flower or the man dies. Whether a flower or the human body, when the attracting principle is withdrawn from it, the flower or the man dies. It is therefore clear that attraction, harmony, unity, and love are the cause of life. Attraction, harmony, unity, and love are the cause of life. Whereas repulsion, discord, hatred, and separation are the cause of death. And I read that wrong, so I'm going to just read it again to make sure that it doesn't change the meaning, but I like to have the words right. Harmony, unity, and love are the cause of life, whereas repulsion, discord, hatred, and separation bring death. We have seen that whatever brings division into the world of existence causes death. Likewise, in the world of the spirit does the same law operate. We have seen that whatever brings division into the world of existence causes death. Likewise, in the world of the spirit does the same law operate. And that's coming from Abdul Baha. Now we move to something by Shoghi Effendi. How pathetic indeed. I'm sorry, it's just, I mean, when you can call something pathetic, that's pretty bad. How pathetic indeed are the efforts of those leaders of human institutions who, in utter disregard of the spirit of the age, are striving to adjust national processes suited to the ancient days of self-contained nations, to an age which must either achieve the unity of the world as adumbrated by Baha'u'llah or perish. Now, I'm going to read that again because there are a couple of things in there. I think I even broke it up pretty badly there. So I'm going to read it again. And that word adumbrated simply means indicated or foretold. How pathetic indeed are the efforts of those leaders of human institutions who, in utter disregard of the spirit of the age, are striving to adjust national processes suited to the ancient days of self-contained nations to an age which must either achieve the unity of the world as adumbrated by Baha'u'llah or perish. We either achieve unity or we perish. And in an effort to bring about some semblance of unity, what Shoghi Effendi here is saying, that is pretty sad that the leaders of the day are applying old methods that will not work in this age, striving to adjust national processes suited to the ancient days of self-contained nations. Good morning, Jiva. Now continue. This is also coming from Shoghi Effendi. Again, remember, we're dealing with this question. I'm going to keep reminding you, what will happen if we don't achieve unity? Now we talk about racial unity. And again, this is coming from Shoghi Effendi. And he actually starts out by quoting Abdul Baha. Good morning, Janet. This question of the union of the white and the black is very important, he warns, he referring to Abdul Baha. This question of the union of the white and the black is very important, he warns, for if it is not realized, ere long great difficulties will arise and harmful results will follow. You know, I think about when this, this had to be written, obviously, Shoghi Effendi, like I said, passed away in 1957. Abdul Baha passed away in, 1920-something. I'll say that. I want to say, I can't say exactly when, but I believe it was 1921. But they were talking about this then, and we're still dealing with it. This question of the union of the white and the black is very important. He, Abdul Baha, warns, for if it is not realized, ere long, great difficulties will arise and harmful results will follow. If this matter remaineth without change, is yet another warning, enmity will be increased day by day, and the final result will be hardship and may end in bloodshed. And of course, we've seen that happen. Shoghi Effendi goes on to say, let them, the black and the white races, while each is attempting to contribute its share to the solution of this perplexing problem, let them call to mind the warnings of Abdul Baha and visualize, while there is yet time, the dire consequences that must follow if this challenging and unhappy situation that faces the entire American nation is not definitely remedied. I mean, we've had warnings and warnings and warnings and warnings and warnings, and as you can see, it is, at a central focus of the Baha'i faith. Yes, unity, but in regards to America, the United States of America at least, racial unity, particularly between the blacks and whites. So again, I think it's important, I've said this many times before, but it's extremely important that we point out that this is not something that is new to this revelation as far as addressing this problem and giving guidance as to what needs to be done. This is not something that has been debated back and forth. This is something that is woven into the fabric of the Baha'i writings. I'll read that again. Let them, the black and white races, while each is attempting to contribute its share to the solution of this perplexing problem, call to mind the warnings of Abdul-Baha and visualize, while there is yet time, the dire consequences that must follow if this challenging and unhappy situation that faces the entire American nation is not definitely remedied. And we've seen a lot come about that they have warned us about, and we're still seeing it today. Moving on. Again, this is coming from Shoghi Effendi. Wow. No less serious than American moral laxity, crass materialism, and the arms race. Again, from Shoghi Effendi. No less serious than American moral laxity, crass materialism, and the arms race is the stress and strain imposed on the fabric of American society through the fundamental and persistent neglect by the governed and governors alike of the supreme and the inescapable and urgent duty so repeatedly and graphically represented and stressed by Abdul-Baha in his arraignment of the basic weaknesses of the social fabric of the nation, of remedying, while there is yet time, through a revolutionary change in the concept and attitude of the average white American toward his Negro fellow citizen, a situation which is allowed to drift, will, in the words of Abdul-Baha, cause the streets of American cities to run with blood, aggravating thereby the havoc which the fearful weapons of destruction raining from the air and amassed by a ruthless, a vigilant, a powerful and inveterate enemy will wreak upon those same cities. Now, again, very long paragraph, very long couple of sentences. That's just, that might even just be one sentence. Yeah, that's one sentence. That's one sentence. So, again, this is coming from Shoghi Effendi, so that's kind of the norm in many cases. I've underlined some things here, and I'm leaving out portions of this. We're going to go back and read the whole thing, but right now I'm going to try and piece together bits of this and leave out some of the extraneous words. No less serious is the stress and strain imposed on the fabric of American society, of the supreme, the inescapable, and urgent duty of remedying a situation which will cause the streets of American cities to run with blood, aggravating some conditions that already existed at that time, aggravating thereby the havoc which the fearful weapons of destruction raining from the air and amassed by a ruthless, a vigilant, a powerful, and inveterate enemy will wreak upon those same cities. So we're talking about the enemy within and the enemy without. And if there is any power, oh my goodness, yes, if there is any power that is trying to do harm to America, what this is saying is that's not the only thing we have to worry about. We have to worry about this problem that's in our midst even today. So I'm going to read the whole thing once again. No less serious than American moral laxity, crass materialism, and the arms race is the stress and strain imposed on the fabric of American society through the fundamental and persistent neglect by the governed and governors alike of the supreme, the inescapable, and urgent duty, so repeatedly and graphically represented and stressed by Abdul-Baha in his arraignment of the basic weaknesses in the social fabric of the nation, of remedying, while there is yet time, through a revolutionary change in the concept and attitude of the average white American towards his Negro fellow citizen, remedying a situation which is allowed to drift, will, in the words of Abdul-Baha, cause the streets of American cities to run with blood, aggravating thereby the havoc which the fearful weapons of destruction raining from the air and amassed by a ruthless, a vigilant, a powerful, and inveterate enemy will wreak upon those same cities. So, I mean, again, as we can see, this is that problem that is still with us, and that we still have not successfully dealt with. Have we made some strides? Certainly. But you don't have to go any further than current news to see injustices in the system and to see attitudes that certainly you can apply these words to. A revolutionary change in the concept and attitude of the average white, if allowed to drift, will cause the streets of American cities to run with blood. We've seen it happen. Moving along. And again, that last section came from Shoghi Effendi. And again, I do want to remind you, I know I said this earlier, but Shoghi Effendi, he passed away in 1957. He was the leader of the faith prior to the formation of the Universal House of Justice. But I give you that information to let you know, again, his words still timely today. But yeah, he passed away in 57. He was 60 years old. And yet those things that he said then are still with us today. A lot of those problems and the solutions are still as timely. We simply have not adequately applied them, and in some cases haven't applied them at all. Moving on to another question. Again, remember, we're talking about primarily about unity. What we just read had to do with, the disunity of the races, certainly on a global scale, but more specifically in relation to the United States of America. So next question. Is it possible to have unity and maintain diversity? Is it possible to have unity and maintain diversity? Here's the first passage that responds to that question. And I'm going to say I've heard so many people say similar things here. A critic may object, saying that peoples, races, tribes, and communities of the world are of different and varied customs, habits, tastes, character, inclinations, and ideas, that opinions and thoughts are contrary to one another, and how, therefore, is it possible for real unity to be revealed and perfect accord among human souls to exist? That's a good question. I mean, if you look at the way things are, and if you question even the possibility of things getting better as far as the unity of the world. Is it possible for real unity to be revealed and perfect accord among human souls to exist? Here's your answer. And this is coming from Abdul-Baha. In answer, we say that differences are of two kinds. Differences are of two kinds. One is the cause of annihilation and is like the antipathy existing among warring nations and conflicting tribes who seek each other's destruction, uprooting one another's families, depriving one another of rest and comfort, and unleashing carnage. The other kind, again, we're talking differences, the other kind of difference, I'm putting that in, which is a token of diversity, is the essence of perfection and the cause of the appearance of the bestowals of the most glorious Lord. I'm going to read that again. Remember the question, is it possible to have unity and maintain diversity? Here's a portion of Abdul-Baha's answers. In answer, we say that differences are of two kinds. One is the cause of annihilation and is like the antipathy existing among warring nations and conflicting tribes who seek each other's destruction, uprooting one another's families, depriving one another of rest and comfort, and unleashing carnage. The other kind, which is a token of diversity, is the essence of perfection and the cause of the appearance of the bestowals of the most glorious Lord. It is the way things are supposed to be. So, yes, unity, but of course, diversity. Continuing, Abdul Baha, we mentioned the metaphor of the flowers in the garden. He's using that here. He says, consider the flowers of a garden consider the flowers of a garden. Though differing in kind, color, form, and shape, yet inasmuch as they are refreshed by the waters of one breeze, and I said that wrong, I'm reading ahead in my mind, yet inasmuch as they are refreshed by the waters of one spring, revived by the breath of one wind, invigorated by the rays of one sun, this diversity increaseth their charm and addeth unto their beauty. Thus, when that unifying force, the penetrating influence of the Word of God taketh effect, the difference of customs, manners, habits, ideas, opinions, and dispositions embellisheth the world of humanity. Embellisheth, decorates, adorns, beautifies the world of humanity. This diversity, this difference, is like the naturally created dissimilarity and variety of the limbs and organs of the human body. For each one contributeth to the beauty, efficiency, and perfection of the whole. When these different limbs and organs come together, the influence of man's sovereign soul and the soul's power pervadeth the limbs and members, veins and arteries of the body. Then difference reinforceth harmony. Difference reinforces harmony. It's reinforceth. I'm taking liberties and saying reinforces. Difference reinforces harmony. Diversity strengtheneth love, and multiplicity is the greatest factor for coordination. I'm going to read that last sentence again. When these different limbs and organs come under the influence of man's sovereign soul, and the soul's power pervadeth the limbs and members, veins and arteries of the body, then difference reinforceth harmony. Diversity strengtheneth love, and multiplicity is the greatest factor for coordination. To continue. Again, the question, is it possible to have unity and maintain diversity? This next passage, coming from Abdul Baha, he says, not, that's N-A-U-G-H-T, in other words, nothing, not but the celestial potency of the Word of God, which ruleth and transcendeth the reality of all things, is capable of harmonizing the divergent thoughts, sentiments, ideas, and convictions of the children of men. Verily, it is the penetrating power in all things, the mover of souls and the binder and regulator in the world of humanity. I think we're going to pause there. I'm gone a little past the point where we would normally have stopped or normally have paused for a song. And because of my little issues here with my drum machine, I'm going to have to do a quick setting and hope it stays this time. I'm sure the last one was, the little mistake before was on me, but I still don't know what I did that made that happen. I know that this whole idea of unity and diversity, it seems like such a pipe dream to some people. But notice that there's a condition. The only way you can get there is by applying the Word of God. I have to move something here. There we go. Looking out on the horizon, light is gleaming, rays are beaming, a blessing to lay your eyes on. Truth is streaming, wake up from your dreaming, and here we gather together, praising the Lord that will reign forever, joining as one for the world to see, in fellowship, love, and unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. Fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. In fellowship with all people, truth beside us, God's word here to guide us, seeing each one as equal. Love inside us, nothing can divide us, heart to heart and hand in hand. Every girl, woman, boy, and man, sharing the gift of humanity. When we all join in unity, fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. 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 And here we gather together, praising the Lord who will reign forever, joining as one for the world to see, in fellowship, love and unity, love and unity, love and unity. Oh, fellowship, fellowship, love, love, unity, unity. 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 Fellowship, love, unity. It's the only way we're going to get there. And now, given the time, maybe we'd better stop there. We've got quite a bit to go. I thought maybe we'd finished this section today, but no, we're going to go ahead and stop there. We don't, unfortunately, obviously, we don't have our Camby's moment this morning because Camby's, as we said earlier, is not feeling well. Andy, do you have something you can share with us today?
Yes, I do.
Well, please feel free to do so.
All right. Yes, I will. I'll be happy to do that. Just a second here.
Okay, give you time to get set up.
I was. Oops. Okay. Blessed is the spot in the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the God. And the better inventions of God have been made, and His praise is glorified.
Thank you very much, Andy.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to share a prayer or reading or song? Anyone? I don't believe we said good morning to Adam and Hushang, and I know we said hello to Jiva. Well then, as always, we like to point out that this is not just, a couple of guys that decided they want to do online devotions or anything. This is a joint community effort. Members of multiple communities coming together to bring you this devotion. But we always like to express our thanks to the kindness of the Clearwater, or for the kindness of the Clearwater Bahá'ís, because of course we are coming to you through their website, as their web page, as far as using the Zoom stream is concerned. And everyone out there in Facebook land, this is just my personal Facebook page. So, but if you would like to get to know more, before I get to this, I should point out that I know that a lot of people that do watch this devotion after the time that it's actually done online. You often look at, find it through Facebook. You can also find it through the Clearwater Bahá'í's webpage. And the reason I like to point that out is because they have other materials there. They have other programs there that you can avail yourself of by going there. And we also always enjoy any kind of, sometimes people give us feedback, very positive feedback, or sometimes point out that there was this little issue or that little issue. And we really appreciate that because it can help us, make things a little better. But if you are interested in learning more about the Baha'i faith, as always, we like to point out that there are some definitive, authoritative websites that you can go to. And they are, I'm going to let Nini hold that because Daryl remembers off the top of his head. I have to see it. So What are they, babe? What are they? I've drawn a total blank here. Let me look at the card so I can say them out loud. There we are. www.baha'i.org. Okay. www.baha'i.us and www.bahaiteachings.org. And once again, Clearwaterbaha'is.org. Now, the word Baha'i usually has an apostrophe in it before the web page or for the URL. You don't put that apostrophe there, but it is clearwaterbaha'is.org. Oh, okay. And we show it to the people in the Zoom stream, but I would bet they know it. And if you are interested in actually being, if you'd rather be in the Zoom stream, in the Zoom part of the program, and the reason some people might prefer that is because you can respond to us. Yes, you can put your responses in on Facebook as well, but I'm not able to see it in Zoom. If you had something you wanted to say or share, obviously something that's appropriate, you'd be able to do that. So yes, as always, we again always like to say that we hope everyone has a good week, and no matter what you do, as Daryl always points out, no matter what you do, where you go this week, always, always, always share the love. And while I'm looking for the right setting here, it's, oh my goodness. There we go. And again, we always enjoy seeing everyone in the Zoom stream. And I like going back, and I'll go ahead and tell you, sometimes I go back and I listen to portions of our devotion, so I can, I like to hear the sound quality. But sometimes I also like to just be able to sit back and listen to some of the things that we read, even though, yeah, I'm reading to myself at that point. But I do like to just go back and again hear it sometimes from a third person or second person perspective, so I can kind of consider it in that way. It actually, because there's so much more there that sometimes comes to me after the fact, and hopefully, and I can get the same perspective that others have. Yes. So, O people of justice, be as brilliant as the light, and as splendid as the fire that blazed in the burning bush. The brightness of the fire of your love will no doubt fuse and unify the contending peoples and kindreds of the earth, whilst the fierceness of the flame of enmity and hatred cannot but result in strife and ruin. We beseech God that he may shield his creatures from the evil designs of his enemies. He verily hath power over all things. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. It is incumbent upon every man in this day to hold fast unto whatsoever will promote the interest and exalt the station of all nations and just governments, through each and every one of the voices which the pen of the Most High hath revealed. The doors of love and unity have been unlocked and flung open to the face of men. We have erewhile declared, and our word is the truth, consort with the followers of all religions in a spirit of friendliness and fellowship. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. Watch over yourselves, for the evil one is lying in wait, ready to entrap you. Gird yourselves against his wicked devices, and led by the light of the name of the all-seeing God, make your escape from the darkness that surroundeth you. Let your vision be world-embracing, rather than confined to your own self. These are the words of Baha'u'llah. Be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Let your vision be world embracing. Oh, oh. I saw you singing there, Vicki. That's always nice to see when people sing along. We can't hear them in Zoom, but it's always nice to see. Hopefully we'll do that with the choir. You all have yourselves a good week, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Allah Pai.